This webinar is a newbie webinar to talk about the features of tactical arbitrage, how it works. Nate's been through this a few times before, so stay awake, Nate, because we're going to cover some of the same ground that you've seen before.
Oh, dude, I couldn't sleep through this if I wanted to.
I'll try something a little different today. I've had some people say to me that they're brand new to tactical arbitrage, but they haven't really found any products yet, or don't really know how to begin finding products with it. So I want to sort of get in and just run a couple of searches, and from those searches actually show some profitable items, so you can see how easy it is to sort of make back a membership subscription.
Right.
I believe I could make a membership subscription back. I mean, not everyone's inside my headspace, and I know how to use the software probably about as well as as anyone, having created it.
Yeah, we'll give you that. Yeah, that's fair.
But I think that I honestly believe you could make back a membership on tactical arbitrage in an hour of use. And
so for sure.
We'll try and do that today. But I also want to talk about a new feature that's coming to tactical arbitrage, which I held off for a while because there were some other products that had some similar things, and that is CSV importing, and I'll get to that as the webinar progresses. So
my second favorite spreadsheet format, behind only .xlsx.
Well, this is well we might actually roll this out to XLSX as well.
But I know CSV's got to be easier, right? It's a much smaller file type.
My guy actually finished his feature last night, once and for all, and we tested it in sideways and forwards and stuff. And I went, "This works." And I said, "Should we launch now?" Because whenever we do a launch and suddenly everybody's using it, that's when there's a massive risk of bugs happening, which can cause a server problem or whatnot. And
right.
It's not wise the night before a webinar to launch a feature that could possibly cause problems. Because I'd hate to be having a webinar right now, suddenly the software just wasn't working because I released something the night before. So as soon as my guys come on today, which is 6 hours from now, I'll be saying release the CSV import feature. But I want to show you how cool that is and why it's cool when we get to that. And I know this is a newbie webinar, so I won't hit that first. Let me get into some basics and share the screen. And Nate, I'm going to mention Storefront Stalker in this webinar because I believe it's a very valuable tool. It's really the only add-on. It's really the only add-on for tactical arbitrage that unlocks a feature in tactical arbitrage. And so
I'll share your link in here. So if you guys are watching, this is not going to be like a pitch event by any means. But if you like tactical arbitrage and you've never used it and haven't considered buying it, purchase it through this link right here. But other than that, you guys don't need to buy anything tonight. It's just, you don't even need to buy that right now if you don't want to. But Alex is going to show you why you would want it. Use that link.
Demonstrations, I'm probably going to use it, and like people are who haven't unlocked that feature are going to say, well, how come he's got that extra little panel in there and I don't have that extra panel? So
yeah, and it's the only like paid add-on, you guys. So don't think that there's like just all this stuff you've got to buy to get TA to work. I mean, TA works out of the box, with tons of bells and whistles. This is just a bonus one.
Byron's asked, do we need a lifetime or just 1 year? No, I got an answer to that.
Yeah.
With the 1 year subscription, Tactical Arbitrage will unlock the Bestsellers feature and will stay unlocked. However, the lifetime subscription means that in a year's time, when you're using it within the walls of Amazon.com, it'll continue to work there as well. And I feel like it gets used on Amazon as much as it gets used within Tactical Arbitrage. So you may get to the end of that year and go, well, it's still working in TA, but now I can't use it in Amazon. I've got to buy another year, and so it won't be long before that ends up costing as much as just getting lifetime in the first place. But you could definitely just do a year for now, and that'll unlock the Tactical Arbitrage features, and that stays unlocked for life. So is that how you've got it in the back end, Nate?
Yeah. So if you have an active TA account, you wouldn't have to renew it. But the thing is going to be the additional features that you mentioned for lifetime. And then you also, when you cancel, if you ever did pause your TA account, the billing would start again. So, and also we've had so many discounts and stuff that it's really gotten to the point where it's almost just been cheaper to get the lifetime. Because if you get charged one more time, it would be most of the cost. The lifetime right now is $199, and a year is $89.99, I believe. So it's up to you guys. I know it's not just a tool for TA. Obviously, TA is my drug of choice. But it also works for any other tool that you would use, like a price checker 2 or OA X-ray, or even just to if you have your own type of thing that you do. I don't know what type of crazy stuff you guys have. I know there's people that have their own softwares that they don't even share with the public because they're making themselves so much money on them. So it does more than just with TA, but TA is the only tool that has active integration with it. So it's up to you guys if you want the lifetime and never have to worry about rebilling or canceling or anything like that. But yeah, that's why we have 2 options.
All right, nice. So I'm going to jump on into some screen sharing, and before I do, can in the webinar chat, can you just maybe shout out how is this working for you? Is it like the active speaker is showing on the screen? Is that correct? Because I'm probably seeing it differently as the host. Yes, active speaker from Rich. All right, so when I switch to share screen, that should show my screen exclusively unless one of us is speaking, unless Nate speaks. That might cut it off. Anyway, you keep an eye on the chat. And
yeah, so let's before I don't want to be rude to anybody, but let's maybe set the standards for the evening. The goal tonight is to get the most people the most value, give the most people the most actionable insights that are possible. So that may or may not mean answering some questions. If the questions are relevant to what Alex is doing at that time and I can squeak it in, I'll try to do that. But if it's not related at all, and I think it would be more of a tech support type question or a question that would be better asked another time, just to save the time for everybody, I might PM that person privately and tell them that I'll talk to them off of the wall. Just because Alex, when we open up on a topic, sometimes it can digress, and I want to make sure that we can keep it on track, because I know that there's a lot of questions that people have, but some of them will be better answered in private, where we just want to keep Alex flowing and doing what he does. If you have a question that's relevant to what he's doing right then, that would be cool, and we can hopefully answer that.
Yeah, and I'm not in a massive rush, so if we've got to bounce around to a bit of Q&A, that's fine. I understand with newbies, particularly, if I talk too fast and I skip over things too quickly, then it may not get digested. So if I've got to go back over something, that's okay. And if you've seen it all before, settle in. If it's late where you are and it's the night before Easter, you might have a beer, just be relaxing. And I wish I was having one, but I might have one after this is over. So, all right, I'm going to share my screen and we will get into some good stuff. Andy Slammons is in the house.
Hey, don't assume that that's Andy Slammons. That could be any Andy Slam.
Andy Slam. Is this Andy Slammons?
It's Andy Slamons. It's his evil twin brother.
It's his French associate.
I guess if it was his twin brother, they'd have the same last name.
I got my headgear on. That's him for sure. The viral marketing king. I know I'm about to get into some screen sharing, but I got to say, Andy, just whatever's topical right now, he just gets on that, and he has a viral marketing campaign.
He's like the human version of Reddit.
He's already been on Tosh.0 once, and I'm sure he'll be back.
And he didn't get made fun of. That's like impossible to do on that show.
Yeah. If anything, Tosh was on the side of Andy.
Yeah, he genuinely was.
All right, let's jump in.
All right, I'm gonna cut my video because I'm just like, my ugliness is just gonna be distracting. But I will be here with my audio.
That beard.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Emily
the
must
red,
be able to
the
keep her
red,
hands off you, man.
the red contrast is not going to help. So I'm going to turn off my video, and I will chime in with interjections for questions. So you just do your thing. Again, guys, if your questions are related to what he's talking about at that time, that'd be sweet. If you think it isn't, it would be cool if you PM private message me, or you can post it. And I just don't be insulted if I don't answer it. We'll try to at least answer it after the show or towards the end of the webinar when we're just opening up for all Q&A.
Okay, so everybody should be able to see my product search screen. Now, I'll preface this by saying that this is how the screen looks at the moment. And so I don't want the newbies to be too worried when this changes in a couple of weeks, because we're updating this, because all of the same filters and fields and whatnot will be in the new look. So I've kind of got something off to the side as to how it'll kind of look once the changes are done. It'll be very sort of similar to what's already there, but a lot cleaner and sexier overall. And
speaking of cleaner and sexier, though, Alex, I was saying this earlier. I think that with Zoom, I know that in the past with Webinar Jam, we've had issues with screen lag and people saying they can't see it, and they had to go to YouTube and watch it. Let me know in the chat if you guys are having trouble seeing this. To me, it looks crisp as can be, and it's actually really responsive. So I mean, this looks great for now. So hopefully it keeps that way. And let me know if it's not. But I think Zoom might be the solution, dude.
Yeah. Well, it's a little more expensive, but it was super easy to get started. It seems to be recording. I hope it's recording. It says recording on this computer. So yeah.
Everybody won't mind if you just raise the rates. Just make it $119.99.
No way, man.
$129.
Maybe when I split it all into pieces, but at the moment, I'm keeping it how it is. But when I slice off library and slice off flips and slice off wholesale, then maybe the suite, the Tactical Arbitrage suite, will get a price bump. But anybody who's currently at the rate now, I'll just grandfather people in at that rate. So if you're already in there at like $99 a month or whatever, you'll stay at that price. So
yeah, it would be impossible to back down from this at this point. That's like our biggest sales point of all time. What do you mean we didn't say that at all, Grandpa?
So product search. You jump on into this page, and most people have probably worked it out by now. But essentially, what you do is you go in there and you'll pick a website that you want to scan. And at first, it can seem overwhelming because we're adding so many. I think it's over 550 sites now, and heading towards 600. We've just taken a little sideways detour to add a couple of dozen Japanese sites because we've just added Japan to Tactical Arbitrage. But let's start with one that we just know, which is like Target. Okay. I always say don't live in the big department stores like Target and Walmart, because obviously the newcomers will beeline for those stores to try and find themselves deals, and that's the areas where you'll find that you're hitting categories that have already been hit. It shouldn't take you too long to start looking into the many, many stores that are on here. And I'll tell you very soon a very good way of how to know what to target and when. So let's go target, and over on the right hand side here, it tells you what you're looking for. So for target, it's not a URL. It says when selecting a category, use the code following n- contained in the URL. So in this image here, you can see that there's a URL up the top, and in the URL it says n- and then a series of letters and numbers, and it says you want the code after the n-. Now for every site it's different. For Searler table, for instance, you use the URL of the page you are wanting to scan. For example, these will work, and you can see, you can usually see in here quite clearly the kinds of pages that will work. So if I go to this Searler table, for instance, and I really just picked one at random here. We'll go to sort of, we're looking for, you know, slash category slash cat numbers. And so this one here is kind of what we're after, the URL for there. So you could scan that one. And every one of these has its own little set of instructions. Starbucks is store.starbucks.com, and then the category and the then the category and the subcategory. So they're all different. So you've got to get used to knowing which URLs are right. And in the future, we're going to have some simplified versions. So select Starbucks, select all the T's, and then scan like that. And that'll make it even simpler. But for now, you've got to find the correct category. And there's a lot of people out there who create lists which actually have done all the work for you. So you can just buy one of those lists off those people, and then just get all of the categories listed for you in a CSV, and then you can just pick and choose the ones you want to scan from that. But let's go back to Target, and we'll pick the category example up here. I happen to know that this is toys 5XT87 because I've scanned it so many times in examples. And we'll scan one page, so from page 1 to page 1. Now, if I was brand new to this, I probably wouldn't do much in these filters for starters. I'd just kind of leave that a bit empty, just so I can see how the software works. I mean, it's not going to break anything by just running a one-page scan and just see what happens. So I'll hit submit. Now, in the settings, I've got something turned on at the moment called cache. Now, cache will automatically, what have I done here?
Alex, I think that was a great point you were saying about keeping it simple on the parameters at first. I think that's probably the best way to test it. I remember Lowell Rimple did that one time with, he was talking about Ace Inspector Pro, and how you just kind of play with it, see what happens, and then refine it, you know, as you go. But yeah, like you said, I mean, it's not going to break it. You know what I mean? Don't be too restrictive right out of the gate, and then, you know, tighten them up, loosen them up as you want.
Yeah, exactly. Like
a lot of people are probably overwhelmed when they first see it, and they want to add the best variable for each parameter. But like you said, I mean, keeping it simple at first, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, people end up killing their the good results because they might say remove if there is more than 50 sellers, and remove if there's ranks over 100,000. Now, this is an example where these two filters could conflict with each other, because you might find somebody with a 1,000 rank which is selling like this, bang, 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 all day long, but it's got 51 sellers. So you've suddenly eliminated that product from your results, and it might be a profitable product, but you're losing it. Or vice versa. There might just be 3 sellers, but the rank is 101,000, and it could be profitable. So if you put too many filters, they end up conflicting with each other, and I end up making it really simple, or keeping the filters loose is the other option. If you work with your outside parameters, like your absolute outside parameters for your filters, that's fine. So let's say I put 250,000 here on an average 90-day rank, and remove products with more than, say, I never want to compete with sort of over 100 sellers, for instance. Then that is going to be a lot less restrictive than 100,050 sellers.
Right. And then also, and you guys will see when he runs the search, the view data page is going to show you, you know, it's not like it's laborious to go through all that stuff if you're a little bit looser, right? I mean, you can kind of quickly wean through your products.
No, so I had no filters on here before, and you can see that in the gross return on investment column, there's like -41%, -26%. This guy here, without actually putting any filters in there at all, he's got 11% ROI. And I've got this new little image feature here where we can sort of cycle through and just confirm that it is the correct
which is great, because I think as a suspension person, I've seen a lot of people that end up. People think that OA is going to get their account suspended. That's just not true. One of the problems I see, though, is people buying things thinking they were one thing, not checking them against the ASIN when they get the product, or shipping them to a prep center and not checking them. But with TA and the new ability to flip through all those pages, you can be very positive that it's the same product, which is cool. Rich Zelmer has a good question, and I know that it's something that when I first saw the data or the product search page, I kind of wanted the same thing. How do you decide what number of pages to use? And also, is it going to slow things down tremendously if you don't, like, it's say you don't know how many it is, obviously you can look, but if you don't know how many it is and somebody's new and they just wanted to get it going and they typed in 100 and it was only 10, is that going to cause any type of conflict? I think is probably along the lines of what his question is.
Okay, so no, it won't cause any kind of conflict. What will happen if, let's say you type in pages 1 to 100 and there's only 5 pages, it'll do the 5 pages and then it'll take a few seconds to look at page 6 and say, well, there's nothing there. Page 7, nothing there. So before it completes the task, it'll look through the remaining 95 pages and just basically spend a few seconds on each telling you there's nothing there. Some people do that with bulk lists. They just put page 1 to 100 on every single row and then just enter their categories in and then just walk away. Because, if you're upstairs cooking dinner, those few seconds times 50 pages or whatever, you're not even really going to notice it. Whereas it might take you extra time to enter that data one by one on your rows in a bulk list. But if you really want to know, most pages have here how many are there or how many products are on the page. So if I was to go to, say, Target, and I know this isn't super automated because there is some mathematics involved. It's not too terrible. But there's 77 products here. And all right, so I'm going to look over at Target and see what Target tells me about that. Target tells me over on the right-hand side here to use 60 products per page. So I know there's 77 products on here. So I might just go page 1 to page 2. That'd cover it. That's all 77 products. So you can easily, on most sites at a glance, be able to see how many pages to do, as long as you just check on the right-hand side here as to how many products per page. There is ways that I can automate this in the future, which will automatically look at the page, extract the 77, divide by the 60, and do that for you. It's just with 600 sites, it's actually a lot of work because we've got to manually do it for each one. But we are actually doing a one-by-one domain sweep soon for some more update all work. And without getting too much into it, we might sweep some of that data at the same time so that we can automate that feature as well. But for now, it's not an overly complicated stepping stone to do. Hopefully that makes sense to you.
Here's another question I think that's relevant now that we're on this page. Byron Lamister, sorry if I said that wrong, wants to know, can you restrict against brand gated products?
Yes. So let's say, for instance, you have discovered that, let me pull my brands up because I've got my brands hidden. All right. So let's say, for instance, you know for a fact that either you or globally you're restricted from, say, Play School. All you do is you click the exclude button. That gets added into your settings, and then the next time you scan, it'll automatically hide those products from you so that you don't see those brands anymore. So that might not be hidden for you. It's hidden for me because I like to keep all of my data on one page. And even so, I haven't got every bit of data on the page there because we're getting a lot of columns now. And we've got one of the most advanced estimated sales algorithms you'll ever see coming to Tactical Arbitrage in a couple of weeks, maybe
Whoop, whoop.
maybe 3 to 4 weeks. It is a complex algorithm. It's not a rough guess based on current rank. It uses a lot of data points, and we've employed 2 mathematicians on it, and they argue with each other. But we've come very close to what I think is going to be the gold standard in estimated sales. So there'll be even another column on here soon.
I don't think you can say enough about that, dude. I don't know how many people truly understand sales rank, and the problem is that they use tools that make them think that they know, but sales rank could reflect so many things that just make it not, worth giving weight to, right? Like, I mean, if something just had a huge spike in sales today, it's going to look like it's meeting your criteria. But with what you're saying, you're going to be able to actually quantifiably know without just, random sales rank data. It's going to be based on actual sales.
It's going to be able to tell you, based on that average rank, how many would sell if there was just one person in the buy box. Now, there'll be another algorithm to work on after that as to what your estimated sales will be when sharing the buy box. But to be fair, that is an estimate because the buy box is always changing. It's particularly good if you're doing private. It'll be particularly good if you're doing private label though. And Andy Slamans is in the house. He is the private label guy. He'd be interested about this. Be particularly interesting if you're doing private label, because if you're sending something in and you want to know that it's going to sell 1,000 units per month, then you're going to need to know what kind of average rank to get that to in that category to move it the most. But I've digressed because I'm talking about future features, and I think the newbies want to know about current features first, and we can always get into the estimated sales as it gets a bit closer to the release date. So yeah, I added this little flicking through the image based on another algorithm that's coming out soon as well. We wanted to have all of the images in there because we're going to be doing something very soon to do with enhancing title matches, and that's just another teaser I won't get into now. But we need every single one of these images to do this properly. So it's going to be cutting edge. I won't say more than that. So all right. So in this tiny little scan that we just did very quickly there, I can see there's a Harley Quinn product there with 69% return on investment. And we've got a green, meaning a matching UPC. And, oh, it's not in stock. And I can confirm that's not in stock by coming over to Target. And only in stores. So even though it says not in stock there, you may want to check your local store on that particular item now that you know that there's a 69% return on investment on that product.
Alex, I think Carol wants us to go back. I think it was my fault. We kind of digressed when we were talking about the cache and setting that and what it is, I guess, basically.
Yep. Oh, cache. Okay. So if I go into my settings, and hopefully my keys don't get shown here, they shouldn't. Okay, so on this page, we've got the cache. So for product search, you won't have forever setting. That's an admin setting. You will have up to 5 days. So what that means, if you set that for 5 days, then any product that was scanned in the last 5 days and a result logged into our system, you'll be able to get that at 0.1 of a second speeds when doing a search. Now, if you were to switch that to live, then every single product would be looked at uniquely for the very first time. The other thing that will happen is, of course, you'll be laying down new cache so that in a few days' time, when somebody with a 3-day cache is set scans that particular page, they will see the live scanned product. Now, if there is nothing within 3 days, let's say the data is 3 days and 1 hour old, and you've got this set for 3 days, then it will do live scans on each of those items. Now, live scans don't take 0.1 of a second each. They can take anywhere, depending on the domain, from 2 seconds to 7 seconds per product. Still a lot faster than manually checking every single product one by one, but certainly not as fast as cache. So one of the ways you can tell if it's a heavily hit category, let's say I set that for 1 day, and then I go to product search, and I'll scan, I'll delete all that data. I'll scan target again. And I didn't just do a live scan, I was using cache. So we're going to see if there was any live stuff done in the last day. So it's obviously a fairly hit category because a member scanned this in the last day live. Because all of that was captured. See, the speeds that came through was all done via cache. Now, if I was to go to a less frequented store, Ebu, for instance, you may find that nobody has visited this Ebu default category. And I can see by the way that it's getting live data one by one, that nobody has hit this category in the last day because my cache is set for 1 day. And anybody who ever thinks the tactical arbitrage is saturated can quickly discover that all over here, there is untapped sites, some with amazing deals. People forget to hit little stores like computer parts, like tiny little computer parts. Like there's a store on here. Don't tell me I've forgotten the name of it. Is it Mercola? Let me just check. No, that's not it. There's a store in here which has just got like little resistors and switches and little tiny computer parts, and they're like 89-cent parts that sell for like $11.50 on Amazon with high ranks. And when I added that site, I was looking at that going, this is a gold mine. And yet I can go back and scan that, and if I was to scan that store right now, I would discover that people were not scanning it. I know that because everybody's hitting the main stores thinking here's where the gold is. You've got to like expand your horizons and get into some of these other stores.
Hey, Alex, do you want to just kind of plow through a few questions? Like literally, I'll give them to you like 10 to 20-second answers.
Yep.
I feel like we're going to fall behind and never get back on these. Can we set ranks per category for bulk scans, e.g. toys, 20,000 or 200,000, beauty, 80,000?
Yes. Oh, you want more than that?
That'll be good for now. Maybe we'll do it.
No, I'll show you. I'll show you.
All right.
So as long as I don't hit that keys button, I'm safe. So I'll come up.
Next extension, dude. I need a timer that you can see in a webinar, and then I'll set it for 30 seconds. Sales
rank filter per category. So you go through and you can set 80,000 or whatever, like you've just suggested, and then you turn this, you activate that to yes, and then that will be used. So let's say you're scanning a bulk list with multiple domains in there and multiple categories in there. Then you can activate this, and it'll go through, and whatever your settings are, it'll utilize those limits, like 5,000 for shoes, or sports. Let me think. Sports 150,000 maybe. Books 1 million.
This is awesome, you guys. And the more that you learn about sales rank and everything, the more that this will make sense. So that's pretty cool features. So good question, Tim. Brian Pearson says, do you recommend UPC only searches for people just starting out? Yeah, I do. The thing about title searches is that's where you'll see the majority of your mismatches. Now, I've mentioned a moment ago that there's an algorithm coming, which is Michael Flanagan and I have discussed, and he's in the house at the moment. He
he's well aware of what I'm doing, and he can testify to how exciting this is going to be for title searches in the future. But essentially, I would start with UPC, and you can set that in the settings here, UPC sites and products only. Just flick that to yes. That's only going to give you those perfect match UPC products and perfect match UPC sites. Once you're slightly more au fait with operating the system and software and managing your expectations, you can switch that off. Every title site, domain to domain, differs completely on the accuracy of title matching. Some title matching is so good it is indistinguishable from UPCs, because it is as if the title has been copied over to Amazon as the description, as the title on Amazon, and so it is perfect match after perfect match after perfect match. And where possible, we've used like the part number in the title. We've actually combined the part number into the title for some sites, like the one I was talking about before with the electronics. That uses part numbers. So we put the part number in the title. So even though it's a title match site, the accuracy of those matches is consistently good. But then you've got a site like Big Lots, which we deactivated because of just how bad it was, that has titles like Dog Bowl. And Dog Bowl, when you try and match Dog Bowl on Amazon, you're not going to get the same product. You're going to get 500 different dog bowls, and it's just not going to work. So the algorithms that we've got coming, even though it just says Dog Bowl, may well still match that particular product on Amazon. So we might reactivate Big Lots at some point in the near future.
Nice. So what is a good place to start with cache? Carol wants to know.
What I like to do is everybody will do this differently. Some people just like to ride the cache at about the 1 day mark or maybe the 2 day mark. And we actually start everybody's brand new fresh account set to 1 day so that you can decide if you want to change that and go up or down. But what I like to do is set my cache long, like 5 days. And then in the view data, once I find the products that I'm most interested in, now, I should just put in brackets here, setting cache long isn't going to be as smart a move if you're looking at a sale that's on today and only today. But if the sale's been on for, say, 3 days, maybe set your cache to 3 days, and then the data should be the sale data for that particular product. But as a rule, I like to set my cache longer, and then I go through and find the ones that I want to keep in here, remove the rest, and then I'll hit update all data. And that'll give me the fresh prices. It'll update the price at the store. It'll tell me if it's in stock or not. It'll update my gross return on investment. I don't know what that item's doing in there, but that one's going to go because it's in my way. And so on. So setting cache a bit longer and updating all is a tactic, or keeping cache shorter and just knowing that what you're seeing is probably pretty accurate is another tactic. It depends on how impatient you are. I'm pretty impatient, so I like to set my cache long so I get lots of results fast, then I sort it, and then I update it. Some people aren't as impatient as me. They'll keep their cache shorter, like a day, and then if some live results filter through as well, all well and good, and they're happy to do it that way. So you pick what works for you.
Here's a question for our new UK friends. I know you've got an influx of UK users, which is great. When sourcing from USA and selling in the UK, does ROI and profit include the dollar to pound conversion and also VAT calculations?
Yes, it does. So as soon as you've done that setting in the global search rules for sourcing from UK to .com, for instance, then what will appear on your view data page is the I've got some. Let me try and shift this. I've got some boxes in the way because of the webinar. I can't seem to grab it. exchange rates icon is up the top there. I don't know if you can see that. I can't mouse over it probably. Oh, there we go. So that is up to the moment, and that will be calculated when doing your cross-country arbitrage.
Perfect. What does it mean when it skips a product because of a mismatch?
Skipping a product because of a mismatch means that another user has identified it to be a mismatch, and they have marked it as such. See over on the side here, there's a big pink button. That's going to look very different in the new design, because I think that's a big, ugly pink button. The new design, it'll be a lot more discreet. But anyway, if, for instance, these were two completely different items, you could go through and hit mark as a mismatch, and that will appear in the mismatch page. Mismatch page is a little bit like a junkyard that I recommend people play in, because there is always deals to be found in this mismatch page. You could leisurely go through and find a website that you want to have a look at, and what you can do is you can match them. You can actually match them. You can search for the title, you can go through the Amazon, you can put the correct ASIN in there, save it, and then when you save it, it becomes a your match. So every time you make a match yourself, then the data will appear in the your match page, so that you can go through and have a look at which of those are deals and which are worth keeping, which aren't worth keeping.
Awesome, awesome. We had one more real quick question. We'll skip that one for now. What do you do basically when you find a good product and it's not available in the store?
I would save it. So we've got a new system here, which I can see on the back end that not that many people are using yet, but it is an extremely powerful system. If you see an item which is profitable, I would put it in your saved data, and then I would operate this enable product and reverse saved lists, auto updates and alerts. So you'll stick in your phone number there for SMS or your email address, and then you'll pick which folders you want to get updated, and you say, send me a notification when this item becomes in stock, positive return on investment. In fact, only alert me when that item is in stock and positive ROI over this amount. So let's say I put 20%, or I keep stuff really low. I like to look at anything. So even if I always set that for like 0 or 1% or something. So if anything becomes anything becomes a positive ROI and in stock, I'll have a look, and then I'll go to the page because possibly I'm not up to the very minute as to the fact that there's a board game sale on right now, which is buy 2 get 1 free. So it's become positive ROI and in stock based on not including that deal, and then I can go in and add that deal. Now, if you know those deals at the time and you've actually been tracking it, you can import all these deals into here and say, well, at the moment, 511 Tactical is having a 25% off store-wide sale. They've got a 6% cash back at the moment, and also they've got gift card granny's got 10% off on these cards. So you can add all of that data into here and keep track of that, and then those discounts will be included in these auto updates when tracking that, if that makes sense. So like,
it's a good time to plug Rev ROI though as well. Do you want to add a little bit of extra onto all your purchases? Rev ROI is going to show you your cash back and possible discounts, right?
Yeah, Rev ROI is cool. I just clicked the little so I clicked the Rev ROI. This is a Christopher Grant extension, and if you click that little Chrome extension icon up the top there, it'll show you who currently has the cashbacks. So if you purchase through Simply Best coupons, they'll give you 5% cash back at the moment by using them. Who currently has discount gift cards? So Card Cash, on average, it's about 4.3%. And no real coupons available there at the moment. So Rev ROI is excellent for finding that, that data. And let's talk about that data for a second, because I've had people say it's difficult to find items. Well, once you start getting to know about this particular row here, store price reductions, it becomes insanely easy to find profitable items. So I'm going to just delete all the data to date. Now, there's a couple of ways of finding coupons. You can use something like Rev ROI, or you can also go, say, to target.com. And over on the right here, there's quite a clunky little side link, which is click here to check for coupons at Retail Me Not. And then you can go through there, which is fine, which is good. And there's also a guy on our group that a lot of people know called Sean Mayo, who has got a tool called A Step Ahead, and he's got a sheet for that. And he keeps this pretty up to date with current deals. Like, see, there's 25% off these pants. You know, what discount gift cards there are, what cashbacks there are, and he has a membership for that. So you can go through, and he says view Tactical Arbitrage supported only, but he's got some custom-made stores there and whatnot too. And you can filter it down to UPC stores only. I find this really handy, and it's just a quick little reference guide as to who's currently got some deals on. So, you know, go to the bottom here. We've got Vitacost, buy one, get one free. So that's, I guess, 50% off. No gift cards, 6% off with Mr. Rebates. So let me go to, let me go to Vitacost. Vitacost. Let me open up this page and see if I can find this particular deal. Wants to show me the Australian site, but I'm gonna, here we go, buy one, get one free. Okay, it's not showing me the Australian site now, which is good. Copy that link, paste that there. How many pages was it? 5 pages. 1 to 5. Buy one, get one free means 50% off. That's excellent. And what was another, what was it? Another 6% off. 6% off. Remove current ranks over. I don't know what I've got that set for, so I'll just leave that. Just show me anything with 10% profit. Let's just keep this really loose here. There is a lot of filters you can do here. You can remove oversized products, out of stock products, remove if there's no weight or size data, remove if there's less than certain number of reviews. Here's a good one to use. Remove if the rating is lower than, say, 3. You don't want to sell rubbish that people will give you bad reviews for. When the review shouldn't be directed at you, the review should be directed at the product, but sometimes if it's a really poor product, they'll direct their venom everywhere, including at the person who sent it to them. So, so I like to remove if rating is lower than, say, 3.5 or something. Or remove products with an Amazon price of less than. You know, some of these are pretty self-explanatory. You know, I don't want anything with an Amazon price of less than $15, for example. Anyway, let's have a look and see if anything pops up. Okay, got some stuff added. So this stuff that's added, this is a UPC site, mind you. You can see up the top here, UPC. So this gets me excited, the word added. It's a UPC site. We've got some products being added. I haven't even scanned them all because it was 20 products per page, not 40. So I'm just doing 100 products here. The products are getting scanned pretty fast. I'm going to pop across and see what we can see. Okay, so this adjusted price means that it's normally $15.74, but it's buy one, get one free right now. And plus there's an extra 6% off with that cashback company. So we're looking at around $7.40 spend to get this item. Okay, now they don't look exactly the same. I'll pop across and have a look. So I might avoid that one because for some reason, even though it's a matching UPC, they've changed the label. And I kind of avoid that even if it's the exact same item. So we'll look at this next one here. We've got 2 vitamin C's, both 250 capsules. It's not selling very fast. I wouldn't want to be up against a lot of competition, but I can see that there's only 7 people selling it. And gross profit's 88% with a gross profit of $5. So, I mean, you know, I may end up buying one of those kind of things, but look at this page. Gross return on investment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items there. And I didn't even scan it all. I only scanned half of it. Gross profit $4. Gross profit $9 on this one. What's the sales frequency on this one? Is a little better. You know, we're trying to find that sweet spot where we're getting a lot of sales. This is selling even better again. But that wasn't very hard. That took a couple of minutes to find a profitable sale with some good margins. And you know, obviously now that I've sort of exposed this sale to this webinar, there's more likelihood that several people will jump on this. But you know, I'd like to think that that there's deals here to be had all over this page, this step ahead page. That was just one. Look at this. There's 100 and something on this page. So, and you don't just have to find them here either. You can hang around Retail Me Not. And I've been saying for ages that I'm going to be adding like a coupon code feed to Tactical Arbitrage. It kind of got buried for a while in some other jobs. Although we have done the tests in the back end with the coupon companies to create that. In all likelihood, it'll be more like a prettier version of what we've got here. So on the drop down that you choose, instead of it being coupons at Retail Me Not, it'll show you what the current coupons are there. We'll probably attach a bit of code here. So depending on the one you select, it'll have a bit of data there as well. So you can either join a service like that, or you can do your homework before you do your scans. I think a lot of people are scanning blindly and just picking, oh, I'd like to see whether or not Swanson Vitamins has got any good products. And you need to do a little bit of targeting before you even start your scans. And it doesn't take much, but that little bit of targeting pays off into finding the profitable items. Now, there might be some more questions. Can you talk for a second, Nate? Because I do this every webinar. I end up drinking about 3 or 4 cans of drink.
Yeah, for sure.
I just put on.
We want you to be hydrated, and I also don't want you to have to. We are close enough, Alex, me, you, and the TA community that you can go pee in the middle of the webinar, and that's okay.
1 moment. Get some questions.
Okay, so Byron wants to know. Let me start my video. I can't start my video. Sorry, guys. What are XPaths and how are they used? I see them mentioned a lot on the TA Facebook page. Great question. Yeah, so XPath is basically a way to create a site that can be supported within Tactical Arbitrage that's not supported, right? So obviously TA supports, what is it up to now, 500 some sites? There are literally tens of thousands of other stores online. So those sites could be scanned too, but they need to be done in a certain way. So XPath, I don't know the technical details of how it works, but at its core, you can pay somebody, and I believe the prices range from like $40 to $100. You can get them in bulk. You can get more than a few. Bob Steele offers them. I think Christopher Grant offers them. And they will let you basically, I mean, there's no guarantee of exclusivity, but you essentially will be allowed to scan that site. And as far as other TA users seeing it, they would have to have it made themselves to see it. And there's no, like I said, there's no promise that other people won't build their own XPath site for that same URL. That can't be promised, but for the most part, most storefronts most stores that have XPath built for them, the user gets that pretty exclusively, and it definitely is an edge, and it's fairly easy to have done. I'm sure it's incredibly difficult to do yourself, but the beauty is that you can pay somebody to do it. Lillian wants to know, how much is the program? Is it a yearly price or a monthly fee? If we're talking about tactical arbitrage, it is what's that?
$99 a month.
Yeah, $99 a month, and there is currently no yearly price. But I've been pulling on Alex to do a yearly price. I think I know there's a lot of people that would love to do that.
Here's why I don't want to do a yearly price. I'll tell you why. This is behind the scenes stuff. There was a very small group of people who, at Christmas time, for tax reasons, wanted to get their yearly price. Get a yearly price so that they could have a large expense before tax time. And so there was only like 15 people in the group, and a few of them wanted to do it. And I said, all right, no worries. And I came up with a yearly price, which was about 10% off or something like that. Two of them stopped selling FBA about a month ago. And now I've got emails saying, can you please prorate me back $600 into my account because I no longer do FBA. I've decided to, give up and go traveling with my husband and whatnot. And I understand that things change, but it's difficult for me to manage. And I'm a nice guy as well. And I'm like, it's difficult for me to say, well, all right, well, let's have a look at how much you've used so far. And those pre-allocated dollars that I've put towards development of the software and, house payments now has to be dug back out and stuff, because a year is a long time. And so I don't really want to put a whole bunch of labels all over it saying no refunds if you decide to change within the course of this year. And you know what I mean? It's like it becomes political, and I don't like going down that road.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to discuss. But yeah, so what else do we have? Luke wants to know, some cashback sites I have found say that they don't work when redeeming gift cards. Oh, cashback sites with redeeming gift cards. Like combining two things. Do any of them give cashback when using gift cards?
I believe that you can triple stack. I've triple stacked before.
Really? Okay, yeah.
When I say triple stack, I mean like you've got your current store disc, 20% off site-wide at Disney, plus 7% gift card, plus 6% cash back at Ebates or something like that. I've triple stacked that before with no problems.
Is there something to, sorry.
There may be an isolated case where the store doesn't allow that, but I'm yet to see an example. Maybe Christopher Grant, who's got a lot of experience with cashback and gift cards, could clarify that.
And Luke also wants to know, is there something to remove products without a BSR of 0, not ranked? I don't really want to see things that have not sold on Amazon.
You should not ever see, if you've put only show ranks under 150,000, you should never see a 0 rank. The only time you'll see a 0 rank is you possibly see that in the average rank column sometimes. But what happens is when we are unable to extract average rank, then we utilize the current rank. So if you see a 0 in the average rank column, glance over to the current rank column and you'll see that there's a rank in there. So that's probably what you're talking about, possibly.
Can we filter on multi-pack, bundles, pack of, etc.? I guess, can you filter multi-packs and bundles?
Yeah, if you don't want to see bundles or whatnot, just go remove products in Amazon with keywords bundle set count, that sort of thing, pack, and then it'll just skip those products.
Sweet.
You can mouse over all these and it'll tell you that.
Sarah says, you should have Alex show everyone how to pull the last log and how to submit a support ticket if needed so they don't all post in the Facebook group.
Well, the Facebook group is there for support as well, but if you wanted to, let's say that most recent vitamin scan that I did on product search, let's say there was a result in there that you just couldn't explain. You're like, why is that in there? I gotta send in a ticket. So you can go and download last PS log, and you can attach that to me, or you can hit support and just go attach recently completed log. Will probably be easier. You just go product search, and you put in your bug report, and bug report search issue, attach recently completed log, put your name, tell us a bit about it, and we'll get to the bottom of it.
And there's a lot. One thing I'd also recommend, guys, is if you have a question, it's likely been asked before, and Alex is really building a big database of that stuff. But you can also go into the Facebook group and up on the search within everyone should be in the Tactical Arbitrage Facebook group. By the way, there's always great stuff in there. But if you search, like, let's say what your problem is, let's say you're having a problem with reverse search. So you just type in reverse search and see what other people are posting about. You might find your answer. And not that I'm saying don't contact support for questions, but it just might be faster for you, honestly. Alex is super fast as it is, but the goal is to get you guys scanning as quickly as possible. So maybe your answers are already in the group. Ernest wants to know, is there a button you can hit to tell if you're able to sell a product or if you are restricted?
Okay, so this sort of is a very vague version of this, with a more advanced version coming, provided you are logged into your Seller Central account at the time. It's tricky, you see. Tactical Arbitrage avoids something called scraping. And I know it seems like what we're doing is scraping, but when it comes to actually accessing Amazon in any way, shape, or form, we want to stay within terms of service. So what for us to actually extract the data about restricted products or not, you've kind of got to be logged in and us scraping, because the data is not available through the what's called the API. So what we do at the moment as a workaround is this little black Amazon button here. I won't click that now because it'll try and open up my personal Amazon account. But if you are open, if you've got your account open, you can click on this and it'll bring the product up as if you were adding the product to sell it, and that will that you'll be able to see in there whether or not that item's restricted for you. So once you've got your list here of which items you absolutely want to sell and don't want to sell, then I do suggest checking that. I know that everybody would prefer just to see a red light or a green light, and it is in our long-term plan. It's just not, I just haven't found the perfect solution yet. So I feel totally comfortable with it. Nice.
Nicole was wondering about XPath for Canada. Canada or .com and .ca are the same, I imagine, right, Alex? I don't think there's too much more of a difficulty, right?
No, you just, when you're doing your XPath in Advanced User and you're creating a new rule, you just go for sourcing from Canada. So it's that simple.
Yeah, so there's no one that specializes it, but yeah, that I know of. But all the people that make them would do that for you.
Yeah.
What else? Marcia says we should show people the video section in TA.
The where you can.
She said, yeah, because there's a lot of good info there.
Some of it's a little outdated. This 1 to 10 section, some of the, if you were to look at a product search video there, that probably was before we added some of the filters that are on there. These are a bit newer, these webisodes. I recommend that you watch those. Amazon Flips is a great one to watch. What you can do is you can run product search, flips, reverse, and library all at the same time. There's no restrictions there. So you can start a product search going. You can go in there and get an Amazon flip going. I mean, why wouldn't you? It's multiple streams of income. And Amazon flips, I was just running a scan before. And it was just a really simple scan. I just was interested in seeing bestsellers. This is actually what you unlock with Storefront Stalker, by the way, this bestsellers feature. It's a really quick way to have a look at thousands of Amazon ASINs for a search without having to go through and, extract them another way and, put in URLs or cut and paste 100 ASINs and stuff. This is just a super fast way to get thousands of products scanned at once, not in a row, not at once.
Alex, I'll be right back.
No worries, man. Same reason. Yes. So I was just running a scan before, and I wanted to only see items that I might be interested in tracking in my Keeper account, because I like Amazon flips. They're fun. So this product here is the kind of thing that I was looking for, where Amazon goes into stock. Right, this one here is probably not going to be too suitable. Well, it's kind of what I'm looking for. Amazon can't really stay in stock because they sell out so fast. So when they are in stock, you can see it's $19.99. This is an Amazon to Amazon flip, by the way. And when they go out of stock, $31. Now, $31 after fees and stuff probably isn't going to be much return on investment over $19.99. But I did set my filters pretty loose on those. So I might have better luck with a different product. This one, for instance. Okay, so when Amazon's in stock, $19.99. They're not in stock very often at all. Now it says new price of $34.48. I'm just going to check on Amazon whether that includes shipping or not. No, it doesn't. So new price with shipping is about $40. And we're in the process of enhancing this section here. So Amazon current price will include the shipping, and return after fees will include the shipping. So you'll be able to see a return on investment here on these kinds of scans. So that's kind of in the works for right now. I know that Chris Anderson, who's a big Amazon Flips guy, is going to love that feature. So what you do if you're not familiar with Amazon Flips is you go through and you would save this item for tracking on Amazon, on Keeper. So I would track the product and I would set a limit, like I only want to know when it's under $21 on Amazon, and I'd start tracking. It'll send me notifications to my Facebook, Twitter feed, or Gmail. And yeah, that is. There's currently 41 people tracking this, I can see. So you'll find that some products aren't tracked as heavily. But yeah, I think you should be using the Amazon Flips feature as well and building up a database of tracked items, because it's really good to get those little alerts on your phone. They just go, ping, this item's back in stock for $19.99. Now you've been tracking it and you know that it's normally selling for anywhere up to $50, $55. So you buy a few of those at $19.99, send them to yourself, send them straight back in as FBA, and profit. So that is a secondary source. Then there is reverse and there is library search. Now, library search works best for the United States at the moment because of the way that the United Kingdom handles the buy box. We are working on a workaround for that to improve the UK book searches, but it works great for US books. And
I'm back, by the way.
Yeah, I heard you return. How you doing, man?
You feel me breathing? I didn't want it to be weird. I just wanted to make you completely sure that I'm back. Tomoko has a question. I think he left, though. Oh. He says, he said he had to bounce, but hopefully he's still here. if a store has 20% off store-wide, do you put the 20% in store price reductions? Because the 20% price is already accounted in the store's price. Yes? Question mark.
Well, every store is differently. Some stores, they will adjust the price on their site for the sale, in which case you need to do nothing. Other stores will just have like, use this coupon code and get 20% off. If you don't use the coupon code, then you're screwed pretty much. So in that case, you have every intention on using the coupon code, but to get the accurate pricing, you'd put in your 20% there.
That was a good question. Does that make sense to everybody? Basically, if it's a coupon code that you enter at checkout, you would put in the 20%, and if it's a 20% already off everything and it's showing that in the store, you wouldn't have to do that. Cool. Sarah says, I do get a ton of 0 ranks when I run scans that are using current rank, not the 30 or 90-day ranks.
Okay. Can you please send me can you please run a scan so that you get those results, and then send me a support ticket with that log? Because then I will check to see, because there's a possibility, are you using, and this is really sort of getting into sort of a debugging situation here.
Let's come back to that, Alex. You want?
Yeah, just one thing I'll say on it real quick is if you are using the set discounts, not set discounts, set values, make sure you have something in the all other section, because whenever it's not one of these categories, like it's a subcategory or something, if you have nothing in there, then you will see some 0 ranks filter through. So make sure you've got something set in the all others section there as well.
Cool. She said she'll discuss that with you offline. Maybe that answered it.
Yep.
Let's see what else. Jasper says, hello, I came in a little late. Did I miss much? I'll field that one. Yes. When doing wholesale search, besides the 4 main columns, can I also upload the wholesale list with an additional column that could perhaps use the wholesaler's internal number and have that also display along with the results page view data? So he's kind of talking about a custom column. So I can export.
Well,
we want to order.
Yeah, well, we kind of the column kind of exists in product search at the moment. It's called notes, and for us to what we're gonna do is when importing wholesale, we're gonna have the option to import notes. Now we're overhauling all of the CSV imports at the moment. So the way that CSV import currently works is you select this, and then it gives you a little bit of instruction how to exactly prepare your CSV. And it's not really perfect, because what I would prefer to do is just be able to have, let's say, a CSV that I exported from some other software, and it's got like 10 columns, and one of them's category, and one of them's start page, last page, or whatever. And then I just want to be able to like say category is column A, start page is column B, last page is column C. So we're currently enhancing all that. And one of the things I did speak to my guys about is adding a notes column in for wholesale. So that should be happening in a near update to wholesale import. But it'll happen around about the same time as we enhance that CSV, smart CSV import. There's a lot going on at the moment. I'm working like from 5:30 most mornings and getting out of the office at 11:30 at night and just ducking upstairs to see my family as much as possible, because we're redesigning the entire look. We're enhancing some major algorithms. We're adding some key features. We're debugging as we go, and we're also trying to improve wholesale and add an entire new estimated sales feature. And that's only about 10% of the jobs I've got on the list to add, because we get suggestions sent all the time in addition to the suggestions that I come up with in my own imagination. So it's crazy busy, but I aspire to have the gold standard in arbitrage software, and I work very hard to try and make that a reality for you guys every day. So where there is a feature that may be missing something that you exactly want, message me about it, because it goes in the list and I eventually circle back to it. And there's stuff that people suggested last year that may not have been added until sort of until sort of October or November of last year. But eventually it all got added, and I'm here to not just serve myself, but to serve you guys too.
I think you're the gold standard, Alex. Oh. Everyone knows how I feel about you, Alex. So it doesn't mean that much. But David thinks so too. David says, Alex, you already are, all caps, the gold standard. Oh, Jasper says, did I miss the special feature update talk? Yeah, we did cover it just a little bit.
You mean Storefront Stalker?
I think he was talking about we were talking about the new special.
No, I haven't showed that yet. Let me do Storefront Stalker first, because I haven't done reverse and library, and then we'll have a look at that new CSV and wrap up, because we are getting close to 90 minutes now. So,
and if you guys are waiting on a discount for Storefront Stalker, we're not doing one tonight. I feel like we do on every webinar, and I feel like it's overplayed, and I don't want you guys to think this is a sales webinar every time. So I'm fighting that urge. If you guys want Storefront Stalker and you're waiting to buy it until we give a code, we're not giving a code today.
Yeah, and
we love you, but
you don't have to cut and paste what Nate's pasting in the chat there. It's literally right here on the product search page. Well, this is for the 1 year one. Nate's got a lifetime link there as well. But
you can get to the lifetime from that page now. There's a link in the top of it, or when you click on the 1 year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can get the lifetime in there as well. But yeah.
Oh, there you go. So you can easily decide to jump on that later if you like, because it's right there. It's the only advertisement inside Tactical Arbitrage. So reverse and library, we've got a lot of ground to cover. So I think that we'll do another webinar maybe in a week or two and drill into reverse and library a bit more. Amazon Flips is quite heavily covered in that third video on the video page. So if you want to jump into Amazon Flips, it's pretty comprehensively covered in a 90-minute video there. So I would suggest that you do get into that Flips video. Now, reverse and library search, I'll cover more in another video, another webinar, but I'll just touch on what they do here. So let's say I wanted to have a look at toys on Amazon and find them in amongst the 550 stores that we've got in our arsenal to choose from. I'll just make sure I'm set for USA again.
USA.
All right. Now you can import a CSV of codes. You can cut and paste some ASINs, or you might quickly want to check whether an ASIN here is available anywhere. You can quickly chuck that in there. Or if you've got Storefront Stalker, you've got this little feature here. And it really is the only paid add-on. I don't like being like, those those Android and iPhone games where you start playing it and suddenly you've got to get Homer 900 donuts so that he can build something new in town. I don't like downloadable content and add-on content. I've just never really liked it. But this is my one variation to that rule, because I really, really wanted to include what Storefront Stalker could do within Tactical Arbitrage. And so Nate and I sat down and we worked out this arrangement, and I couldn't be happier with it, because if you own Storefront Stalker and you put that information into the settings, which is it's not the invoice number, it's your user ID, isn't it, Nate?
It's painfully more complicated than it should be, just because of how Gumroad gives out the stuff. It's the numbers in the invoice, not counting the letters, or the numbers in the VAT, not counting the letters.
Okay.
If you have a problem with it, definitely just email me or PM me, and I'll get you guys squared away. I'm pretty good at answering those pretty quickly. But yeah, it's all digits, no alpha, no letters. It's gonna get technical there.
So what it does is it unlocks this scan bestsellers feature on 3 pages: flips, reverse, and library. And you go to use that, and if you pick a root level only, level 1, it'll scan 19,200 ASINs. Or if you select like, level 2 stuff, like building toys or something, it'll scan 2,400 ASINs. And then reverse product search actually goes through the system and looks for whether or not, let's see what I used last. I removed average 90 days over 250,000, 10%. Let's just have a look at that. So what that'll do now is it'll go through all of the United States stores and look for whether or not there's any profitable items in there currently. Now, if you've set discounts in the settings for per store, like 20% off Disney or 10% cashback cards and that sort of thing, it'll also utilize those in the calculations to determine whether or not to show you these products. So, I forgot to tick the hide if it's not in stock button, or if it's out of stock button. So, but yeah, there's that button there too. You can actually just remove if the item's out of stock. So it turns out that this product's available at Target for $12.99, and it's currently selling for $21.99 on Amazon, $15.66 after fees, 17% profit. Now, I always should exclude eBay because eBay gives the weirdest matches. Deleting those. And you can exclude from reverse search. There's a setting in the settings to exclude certain domains from reverse search. We should do a webinar soon just on each of the settings, because it's the settings which unlock the additional layers of power within Tactical Arbitrage. It's one thing to scan things, but if you can understand each of the settings as well, you'll enhance the advanced sort of levels of Tactical Arbitrage as well.
We should just do a TA marathon one day, dude. Just answer every question from every person. And then we'll pay somebody to record the minutes, post it.
That one's out of stock now, unfortunately. But you get the idea. This is going through that list of Amazon products, and that list of Amazon ASINs that we've selected from using Storefront Stalker, and it's looking for if there is any positive return on investments from the stores that we've got in our system. In this case, Toys R Us, Kmart, Books A Million, Target, Kmart, Fry's, and by default, it just searches the UPC stores because, as we know, title matches can be a little bit sketchy depending on the domain. But you could also unlock that, and as long as you're willing to delete a few mismatches, you'll get the same results as UPC only, but the extra results, which may well include excellent deals. So as a rule, I actually switch that on, and I just chuck away the stuff that doesn't really apply. Whereas newbies, I would suggest to just leave that untouched. Library, we kind of covered very loosely, but essentially what you're looking for is merchant-fulfilled sellers who are selling books cheaply that you can then turn around and sell as FBA and secure the used buy box on Amazon, or be a new FBA seller as sort of a new book FBA seller at a better price, say, than Amazon. So we should do more webinars on this, because library's reasonably complicated once you get into some of the features we've added. Like we've got a thing here for adding a virtual book. If a book does not exist as an FBA seller, then we create one so that you can compare it. You can compare it against that virtual book to get that return on investment. And no other book selling software that I'm aware of has this virtual book setting, and I really want to get into that in a way that's not complicated or confusing to people by having a dedicated webinar just for library search. And now that
that feature alone could be charged. I mean, that could be $99. There's some people I know that say that they exclusively use that, and it just pays itself off in spades. When it does break off, I hope people realize how good of a deal it's going to be at the $99 a month that they're getting it right now. I think most of the people in this are users. People would gladly pay that $99 a month who actually use the library search. I think it's a shame because I think a lot of people think books are corny or old, and that's old school stuff. But there's still a ton of money in flipping books, and definitely using the library to do it.
Oh, there's heaps. There's so much money in books. I can't run a scan without finding deals. Every time I run a book scan, I find profit. I'll start a scan, then come back to it. We'll talk about the new feature I was talking about before. I won't mess around with this too much. I'll just make sure return on investments at least say 10%. Any trade-in's good because trade-in's free money. They literally send you an envelope to send your book in, and if it's more money than you paid for it, then it's profit. So trade-ins are great. I'll just tick those boxes as well. And see how often I use Storefront Stalker? I know that there's so many ways here that I can get this data and import this data, but nothing is more effortless than just ticking a box and hitting submit.
This is a great question by Santosh. He says, when using reverse search, does TA also search on the XPath sites?
I don't think so.
I've never noticed.
I had this discussion with my developer a little while ago, and I said it should be looking at the XPath sites that particular user has added. And I don't know if that conversation amounted to a task. I think I need to dig that out again. You got no idea how many conversations I've had about developing this software in the last year. We've gone through a couple of developers and upgraded a couple of developers along the way. So I'll if you can shoot me that question via Facebook PM, please, and I will double check that, because there's a chance that it already works for the advanced paths of the sites that you have added yourself per user. So I just need to confirm that.
That's a great question. I think a lot of people wouldn't. Most people don't have XPath set up, but if you do, I mean, that's something. I'm surprised no one else has really brought. I've never been asked that question.
If newbies are hearing the word XPath and they don't know what we're talking about, basically there's a feature. Did you mention it before when I ducked?
Yeah, when you were in the little men's room. That's the one question I answered.
So that's cool, as long as that's been touched on. So I'm going to get into the new feature, which is going to be released in 4.5 hours from now.
Yeah.
And then I'll just have a look at these library search results, and then we'll answer a few more questions and we'll call it quits. So you save your stuff, right? You save all your stuff in your save list, the stuff that you think is good. And your auto updates, this is also where auto updates is having a look to decide whether or not you have now got an item that is profitable, or you've now got an item that is in stock and profitable and sending you alerts. Now, we did something recently where we added this thing called auto update winners. So this is not the new feature, it is a new feature that came out this week, where anything that is auto updated and is profitable and in stock now goes into its own folder. And so I've got 500 items that I've just actually been tossing in there, and I can see that I've got profitable items in there. Where's my return on investment stuff? Where's my return on investment column? I've hidden it. Why would I? Oh no, there it is. It's this Zoom stuff. Just keeps covering up parts of my window. So it's an easy place for you to look now if you wanted to just see what of your current replenishables are profitable and in stock. Rather than go to the email and click on each link and see, you can just go auto update winners folder and just have a look at what's currently profitable and in stock. But that's not the new feature. The new feature is, and I'm going to add a new folder. We're just going to call that import old data just for this example. Now, I'm not going to, this has just been finished last night and I haven't really played with it, so I've got no idea if what I import is profitable, but I hope that you will see that that's not actually the point of this test. The point of this test is to show you that importing is going to be new, there's going to be new ways to import. So the import data itself will be changed. Whether we keep the wording import data version 2.0 or not, whether we change that, I'm not sure. Whatever it is by the end of today is what it will be. And you'll be greeted with this panel. You can either import a TA export file, because at the moment when you export a save list, it exports it as a TA file, or you can also download data as a CSV file. But previously to now, you've only been able to import a TA export file. Now, import as is basically means that if I go to view data here and I download this data as a CSV, and I'll just find that in folder, and I'm just going to go back to my saved list. Now, if let's go import old data again. Now, if I go to find that file and I open that, and if I import that, I've changed really nothing, but I'm re-importing a CSV. Oops. Okay, so that's a CSV import. A couple of my movements there were a little clunky, and I'll be working on polishing that up. Like, it shouldn't really jerk back to the main folder search. I know that it does do that, so I'll polish that up. But aside from that, what I've just done then is export a CSV, and I've re-imported a CSV, and that's fine. Now, because all of the headings are exactly the same, I can also, with that particular button, and I'm just opening up Excel in another window and I'll drag it across, I can also remove a few of these columns. So let's say I've sorted all of this and it's exactly the way I want it, and I've deleted a few columns there. I can also import this with the same button. So that button number 2, that second button, sorry, that's what that does. It allows you to import CSVs as is, even if you've removed some rows. Okay, now, the one that I'm excited about, and I know people will be excited just about that, just being able to like sort some stuff offline. So I'm going to select all here. We still have 60 people watching, so I'm surprised after an hour and a half. So I'm going to delete all that data. I should have just hit select or delete selected. I don't know why I didn't. And in this CSV, I'm going to mess it up a bit now. I'm going to remove a bunch of stuff here. I'll get rid of all this stuff here. Now I'll get rid of all of it. I don't even want any of it, really. I'll just keep it what's there. All right. So the most important thing is, and the compulsory things are, I've got the place to buy and the ASIN. Nothing else is compulsory. It is useful for matching purposes, for to have the title and the image. Save as downloads. And we're just going to put example 3 products. Now, imagine in the history of your time as an FBA seller, the number of bulk lists that you've bought off people that may still have profitable items amongst them, or that have changed or fluxed over the years, that are sitting there in your computer doing nothing. Being able to import those into Tactical Arbitrage and then refreshing them to see whether or not they currently are profitable or worth saving. That, I think, is cool. So I'm going to just...
Yeah, I mean, because deals are cyclical, man. I mean, if you have old data, there's no reason to just junk it, right? I mean, that's pretty sweet to keep it out and, you know, out of the clutter of your area there. I think. Hold on one second.
So I'm importing. I'm importing this now, and I've got the compulsory. I've got the compulsory fields there: the product detail page, URL, and the ASIN. In this case, I've got what's good to include as well. I've got title and image as well. You don't have to have those, but they're good to include. And we've pretty much got some stuff here that's not defined. Okay, and we're going to just import that and see what happens. All right. So you go, all right, well, I'm not really seeing very much that's interesting there, but let's update the selected. Oh, so let's update all data. Providing Vitacost is working properly with the product grabbing. I had selected one of those items and then okay, so there is an issue here which I'll send to my developer where one of those didn't update. So as you can see here, it's updated the price. It's got the title. Oh, we already had the, no, we didn't have the title, the Amazon title. We've got the title now. We've got the category. We've got the current ranks. We've got every little piece of data we need, including whether or not that's profitable or not. Now, it says it's not profitable there at the moment because in this particular case, we haven't entered in here about the 50% off buy one, get one free deal at Vitacost, which we can put into our settings, of course, for that particular, for when we're importing and that kind of thing. So, or for when we're updating all. So, so that would be a profitable item there. So I'm not sure if that really showcased it properly, but the concept is that now you can import a whole bunch of old lists. You can start compiling your lists that you've got from all various sources and bring them in, and you can update them and manage them and see what's currently profitable and what's not profitable. You can export CSVs from Tactical Arbitrage. You can mess around with them. You can re-import them again. You can get one off a friend who's got some deals he wants to show you. You can import that into your Tactical Arbitrage.
Even Alex, I think we should even dumb it down, or not dumb it down, but I think we could even pull it back a little bit further even and explain to them what a list even is. I think some people aren't even familiar with the concept of like reselling lists and list groups and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, so formerly before, I mean, and it still does exist, before tools came which put a fishing rod in your hand and taught you how to go out and catch fish, other people would use virtual assistants to manually put together these lists, and then they would sell the lists, which might be 10 products that are in toys at the moment with a return on investment over 20% or something like that. And you still see these lists from time to time, and it might be like $11 to buy that list. And traditionally, you'll go away and you'll get this CSV, and then you'll start cutting and pasting the stuff into Chrome, and you'll start looking at those products to see whether or not that deal is going to work for you. And it's quite time consuming and laborious, but you can find deals by buying these lists and doing it. So now what you do is, if you still were to buy one of those lists, or you've got those lists in your system from previous purchases, you can import those into Tactical Arbitrage. You've got your clickable links there right away. You've got your keeper data there right away. You've pretty much got everything that you need there to analyze and decide whether to save, throw away, do what you want with those products in a storage place that can be auto-updated with the settings and occasionally let you know when those items are profitable again and in stock again. So I think that this becomes like a repository for deals not just found within Tactical Arbitrage, but other deals that you've found elsewhere that you want to like stick in here and play around with, and you know, does that make sense? Like,
Does to me. Jasper says, does this feature take CSV or XLS?
Currently takes CSV. We are looking to add some XLSX type features in the near future.
Sweet. So I apologize, guys, if we missed any questions. We did do our best to hit them. If we did miss them, just go ahead and you can post it in the Tactical Arbitrage group. If it's a issue that is imminent, you can contact the Tactical Arbitrage support. Alex, is there anything else you want to cover before we break off for the night?
No, I'm coming back. Can you see me?
Yeah, I wanted to put my video on, but I couldn't. You can't start video because of the host. So I've just been naked this entire time. It's just getting weird over here. No, but I think people was excited because there are some people that I know that were PMing me during this that didn't know. Basically, a lot of these features even existed. So that's pretty cool. And this is just the simple stuff, guys. I mean, it gets as complicated, or not as complicated. It can be as complex as you decide to make it. So there's some really cool features that Alex didn't even really touch on. There's all types of different, practice and theory that you can put into it, and it just gets really, really fun. And the people that make it fun and enjoy it, and once they start making money with it, they get better and better and better at it. There's some people that really, really crush it with Tactical Arbitrage. So, Alex, thank you for making such a sweet software and for spending the evening with your people like this. We appreciate it very much, sir.
No problems. Thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate everybody coming along. Yes, Import version 2 will be released later today. I will probably release it and then immediately say to my guy, how come one of these products didn't update when I hit update all, but I'm sure that's a simple fix and won't affect anyone too much. I'm glad that you got a tasting plate of what Tactical Arbitrage can do, and we will get into more. Now that I've got this Zoom webinar software, they're going to charge me every single month to own it. So if I don't do webinars, it's going to cost me money. So we're going to do a lot more. So jump in whenever you want.
Way better than Webinar Jam. You set the bar. Now I'm going to have to stop doing my webinars in Webinar Jam. Yeah, guys. So if you do have lists, I can't wait to share that with people, because I know a ton of. Me and Alex actually met from a list group, like a couple of years ago, I guess it was now, a sourcing group where we would share these Excel files with leads on them. And when you're done with the lead, you just junk the file. But now with this import feature, you can save those and then upload them at a later time and find some recycled goods.
Yeah, it's funny. I used to do a lot of lists myself on Gumroad, and I was actually using a version of Tactical Arbitrage which hadn't been released to the public yet to make lists to sell to people. So
yeah, I remember that. You had the Christmas lists that were big. Yeah,
when I was testing this software, I went into my old Gumroad account and I downloaded a bunch of those lists that I'd sold at the time, and I was importing those into TA last night, and I found profitable items that are still profitable with low numbers of sellers in those lists that I used to sell, like still there today. So
if you're
that's cool.
So if you're in a sourcing group that saves all of the lists, since you were in this webinar in 3 hours when this feature is open, right? You can go ahead and I know that there's some groups that store all of the data like in a big spreadsheet, right? I don't know how they all work, but if you can go and make your own giant spreadsheet and upload it into there. Don't everybody do it at the same time in the same group, but yeah, that's for those of you that are still on and we're paying attention to that. That is a sick feature. To be honest, I had been planning on doing a software like that about 1.5 years ago, and it never came to fruition because I'm not smart enough. Alex is. He did it. This is gonna be awesome. I'm excited for you guys to check it out. I'm excited to use it myself, honestly. Like a billion old lists in my trash bin. All right, guys.
All right, thank you. The webinar went a little over time, but we'll be doing more of them to catch up on some of the stuff we missed this time. And thanks everyone for coming, and I will catch you soon. See you guys.
See you guys.